Welcome to Talkin Business. I'm Joe Catrambone, CEO of the Stuart Martin County Chamber of Commerce, and it's my pleasure today to welcome Kelly Gutvig, co-owner of DreamWorks Company in Real Estate, member of our chamber, an active member of our chamber, and I asked for a brief description of what people do before I interview them, because you, for instance, you're a one-stop shop. So here's what I have is your description: home remodels, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, restoration, painting, and real estate plus more.
Yeah.
Where do you find the time to do all that stuff?
You'd have to ask my husband that.
Does he push you?
No, not really. He started with the DreamWorks companies. He's always been a general contractor for probably over 25, 30 years down south. And then we moved up here in Martin County about 25 years ago, and he opened up just a small remodeling company. And then from there, that grew, just the remodeling company grew. And then it got so busy and so big that he had to move out of the office he was in, which is the office I have now, which is 2,200 square feet, and moved into 15,000 square feet and decided
2,200 square feet is a pretty good size office.
Yes, so the real estate's
There's a lot of
run.
homes in that.
Yeah, I know, it is. It's a great office. But
And he's got how many square feet?
15,000,
In Sands?
yes, Sands
Yeah.
Commerce Center in Palm City off of 714.
I know exactly where it is. I live in Palm City. So,
Yeah. So he had to decide at that time, with him being so busy, do I take my company to the next level, or do I, what do I do? So he took it to the next level, and taking it to the next level was obviously expanding it, and then also bringing in all the trades that go with the construction. So that's electrical, plumbing,
Yeah.
AC, restoration, water and fire and mold restoration, that kind of thing. So it's been working well.
Obviously, that's great. Good for you. So you kind of already said it, but one of the things I like to do is, because Martin County is just such a little tiny speck
Yeah.
that it's, a lot of people say it's a well-kept secret. So how did you end up in Martin County? I heard you say you moved up. So were you in Miami or
Boca.
Boca? Oh, Boca. La La Land.
La La Land. And it's funny because, I love Boca. It's beautiful. But we decided to follow the construction. That's really what it was, because my husband was actually doing construction. It started to move north. It was down south, Fort Lauderdale, and then it moved to Boca. There's a lot of construction going on there. And then before you knew it, the construction was going north. And so we were going to stay in Boca and maybe move to Jupiter. And that was still, maybe a 25, 30-minute drive for him. And then we stumbled upon Martin County and just fell in love with it. So
Were you originally born in Florida? You all from Florida, or where did you come from?
neither one of us.
Okay.
I'm a Philly girl, and he's a Jersey guy. So
My wife was Pennsylvania, and I'm from
yeah.
New Jersey.
So I still have family up in Pennsylvania. He still has relatives in New Jersey.
Where in Jersey?
You'd have East Brunswick, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I know where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was up in Newark area. I'm up close. I was 12 miles from the Lincoln Tunnel.
Okay, okay.
Exit 15 on the turnpike.
Yeah, it's hard to find people that are originally from Florida.
Yeah. More
but
and more though, because
yeah,
like my son was born in Florida.
yeah,
so
our kids, grandkids,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
yeah.
But I have met some of my neighbors that actually grew up in Martin County, went to the local high schools, and now they're in their 40s and 50s
Yeah,
raising children.
yeah.
Everybody seems to come back to this area. My kids left for college, and they're back, and they live here now. So they, Martin County brings everybody back.
So what year did you move to Martin County?
Well, it was about 25 years
Okay,
ago to
okay,
Martin
so-
County.
There's a lot of people know this, but so many people, especially people who have recently moved to the community, when you say you moved up here from Boca, from 80 to 90, from 1980 to 1990, we doubled our population. We went from 50 to 100,000 people.
I believe it.
And from then to now, we've grown a little over 2% a year.
Right.
Everybody talks about unbridled growth in Martin County, and it's out of control. We're still one of the slowest growing
communities or
Yeah.
counties. But, and you know what, I think the secret got out, honestly.
yeah.
But, with growth is change, and there's not a lot you can do about that.
No.
So you have
It's-
to embrace it. And
Yeah, we're we're in a situation where we're running out of room. You know, unless we start changing the urban service area. and which that's
exactly, and you start breaking
that's-
down those 5 and 10 and 20 acre parcels. That's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah, it's
So,
like what Blake is doing with those container homes. You know, it serves a purpose.
Right.
One of the things that we hear or have heard for many years, concern from business owners mainly, is we can't hire people, first of all, because they can't afford to live here. Years ago, we used to we would encourage someone to move their business here and say, oh, your employees can live in Port St. Lucie, you know, or buy a home in Port St. Lucie. It's much more reasonable. It's not anymore.
right.
They've caught up.
Yeah.
Now we're sending them to Okeechobee.
Well, the taxes are higher in St. Lucie County too. But
Yeah.
then you have to say, like, you don't really want people driving out of your county to go work in a different county, because when they go to those counties to work, they're going to get gas there. They might shop there. It's really taking up some of our, money and our promise that I think we should try to capture.
65% of our workforce leaves Martin County. They go north or south, mostly south.
Right.
So 65% is a huge number.
Yeah.
But we don't have
The commerce,
we don't have the industry
Right.
here, and quite frankly, I think most people don't.
yeah, I was
want
just
it.
going to say, I'm fine with it. I really am. But I'm
Even
just
you're
saying.
a business
yeah.
owner and you're fine with
Yeah.
it. So it's amazing how we attract the same minded type people that come to Martin County. I've heard so many people say, because I always ask, how did you end up in Martin County? I came to visit my grandmother, and I went to college, and I loved it, but I came back here to live, or their parents moved here, and then they went to college, and they couldn't stand, they came back.
Right.
So it's a special place, but and I tell people, it's not for everyone,
Right.
you know, and I mean, it's not. You're looking for nightlife, you're
Yeah.
looking for,
Yeah.
you know, when I moved here in '89, our average age was 61 and change, 60 point something, almost 61 years
Okay, I
old.
could see that.
Today it's 50.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference, because when you've got an average age of 50, obviously you've got a lot of people, younger families moving in with children. Our schools, we're building, we're constantly,
Right.
so we're in a great position.
Yeah, and our sports up here are great too. Like, there's so much for the kids to do.
Yes,
We
absolutely.
have some great, sporting teams and
Yeah.
all kinds of things for that. So, but you're right. When we moved up from Boca, it was like, it's almost like the town shut down at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and roll up the sidewalks. Yeah,
but now we're okay with that.
but
We
you know
enjoy
what,
that.
Palm Beach is a half hour away.
Yeah,
know,
and if you want to stay on party till 2 in the morning, then you can go there. That's right.
Yeah. What did you find, or maybe you didn't, but when you first moved here, did you have any difficulty adjusting, or what was your biggest stumbling block when you moved to Martin County?
I would say, and this is like a silly one, but when we moved up, we moved into Stewart West, which is out by
I know
95, which
exactly. I
is
wanted to buy a house
out
out there.
there.
It used to be cobblestone.
yes, yes. And so for me, you're so far out there, and you have to come all the way down 714 before you can get to anything else. And when you're in Boca, you have something on every
Oh, yeah,
corner.
around the corner.
So I was that mom that would pick up the gift and the birthday card on the way to the party with the kids. Well, you couldn't do that there, and if down here or up here. And if you did, you had to leave 30 minutes earlier. So that was like, for me, it was like, wow, we're really out here. But we really enjoyed it. We loved everything about it. And then we wound up, downsizing when the kids got older. And now we're like in the city of Palm City, and I love that because everything is just walking distance. Actually, my husband and I do a lot of walking, and we'll walk to Greek Diner, like you said, and we'll walk to this place and that place, and it's perfect.
Yeah, I wanted to buy a home. At the time, it was cobblestone. And our son was a freshman in high school. And Barb said to me, I have to take him to practice. He's played soccer.
Yeah.
She said, I'm not driving out there every day to go to Publix. Like she said, 5 miles to go to Publix. Take him to school every day and
Yeah.
things of that nature. And so I really wanted to live out there. But we found a home, and I'm glad we're in Martin Downs. And,
Okay,
and-
perfect. You're in the middle of,
Yeah,
yep, you're in
yeah.
the middle
So
of part
it
of
worked
it,
out.
yeah.
It worked out well for us.
Yeah.
What is in the construction end? And maybe you can't talk about as much as your husband could, but is there is there anything unique or anything you see going on in the building and trades industry that
That would probably be a question for him.
so you do mostly real estate?
Yeah, buying and selling. I know there's a lot of remodeling. Every that hasn't stopped. And you have to remember when we had that whole crisis back in the day. People stayed in their homes, and what did they do? They remodeled. And I think that for the most part, people are still doing that. Currently.
Remodeling, yeah, because there's really not that much new construction
Right,
going on
right.
at all.
And
So
even if you wanted to move, where are you going to go, and what's it going to cost you to go?
yeah,
So
yeah. So where are you seeing most of your real estate prospective residents or clients coming from?
Well, we're in season, so we are starting to see all those people from up north come back onto the websites and start making the calls to the office. So I would say like New York, Jersey, Texas, Wisconsin, just from all over. And they have cash to spend in our county, which is
Yeah.
phenomenal. But yeah, the lack of inventory is keeping the prices high for the most part. We're starting to see more inventory come on the market, mainly because I think a lot of people have been standing around waiting to see what's going to happen, with the interest rates and inflation. But now they have to go. They either had a job to go to because they got transferred, or they have to get back up with their family who needs them. So we're starting to see some inventory come on. My biggest fear is people getting priced out of their homes at this point because of homeowners insurance. That's a
Oh, my
huge big deal.
God.
And even the people coming from up north who have been told it's so inexpensive to live in the state of Florida, when they hear about their homeowners insurance, they can't believe it.
I know, but you have to take it all in perspective.
No, I know.
And people don't, because you're right. My homeowner's insurance has doubled in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But we don't have, if people, now retirees are something different. If you have someone who's moving down here to open a business or for a job, there's no state income tax.
Right.
What does that equate to? If you're making
Right. So it
figures-
makes it out. Right. So where you're saving here, you're spending here, vice versa.
Yeah,
It evens
but-
everything
but
out. I get that.
But it doesn't sit that way.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So
It's like you have to trade this for that. And if it's not a
yeah,
good trade in someone's
yeah, if
mind,
you-
then
so you're in business. You always have to look at your bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, maybe you're paying $8,000 for your home insurance.
Right.
That used to be 4, but your taxes are lower. And so there's a lot
Right.
of trade-offs.
And I hope it's not going to go on forever. I'm really hoping it works itself out in the next year or so.
It will. It's
Yeah.
it's so much secular. It just
I know.
it happened. Then it's going to come
Right.
back. But
But that's one thing that we're hearing from clients that are like, really? Homeowners, it's not much money?
yeah,
So,
yeah. But you have to understand. I understand. I don't like it, but I understand. Insurance companies are earning money
right.
to pay out,
Mm-hmm.
and it always aggravates me because I have friends who are in the insurance business. I say, you want your premiums right on time, but when time to pay out,
Yeah.
it's
They
a little
hold
bit
it.
Yeah, they hold it.
They
Yeah.
hold it.
How badly has the increase in interest rates hurt the real estate market?
I mean, it slowed it down a little bit, but, I think, the word on the street from all your lenders is, marry the house, date the rate. So it'll eventually go down, maybe by second or third quarter. And then you can make a decision there. You can
Down
either-
2, you think it's ever going to go back? Like I got a 3.5.
On maybe 5. I'm thinking like 5. This is what I'm hearing just from, multiple lenders that I've spoken with. And I'm sure you've been around, right? So like first house I bought was between 10 and 12%. I got along. I think we've been, really fortunate to have the low interest rates we had for as long as we have. And I don't think, I really don't think 8's too crazy. I mean, 5 and 6 would be better, but everybody can just refinance at that point.
Wait till you hear this. I moved here in '89.
Mm-hmm.
Want to know what my interest rate was? 18.5%.
I was going to say you were way up there because I bought in the 80s as well.
American
and I was at
Pioneer, they're
12,
not even in business
so-
anymore. They were and the CEO of American Pioneer was on our board at the time, and I got a loan through him, and I thought it was a deal at 18.5%.
Yeah.
And so when I hear people saying, "Oh my God, 8%," I say, "Listen,
Right.
you don't know how lucky you are." But can you imagine at 18.5%?
No.
I was happy.
We
to
didn't
get
know any
it.
better, right?
I was happy to get it. You know.
I know, me
It
too.
was-
But
yeah.
there's things that you can do. A lot of people, the sellers are starting to, give concessions to the buyer. Used to be concessions were given to help with closing costs, and now those concessions can be moved from closing costs to paying down the rate. So, it's you can make things work.
What percentage of your either clients or prospective clients can pay cash?
I would say it's 50-50. There's a lot of cash out there.
Well, well, people are selling their homes in the Northeast for $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 cash. They're coming down here and buying a palace
Yeah.
for $600,000. So
Yeah.
compared to the value of buying a home here for $600,000 as compared to buying it, although from what I understand, I know I've still have family up in the Northeast, the real estate market up there is just,
Yeah.
since,
Yeah, I think for Florida, I think the West Coast, like Tampa area, is really kicking. They're like pretty
Yeah.
much the number one
Yeah.
area.
yeah. My grandson just moved to the Tampa area.
Mm-hmm.
He's not buying a house, he's renting, but he just moved to Tampa. So we have a lot of, again, like Martin County, our average age since I've been here has decreased by 10 years. That's huge.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know what the average age of Florida, the state is now, but I'm sure it's
I don't either.
the same. It's taken the same road that we have here. It's probably half of what it was 30 years ago.
Right.
You
Could be.
Yeah, because, well, look at schools are a perfect example. They're building schools everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think the younger people, people are looking for a place to raise a family. And, in this crazy world that we are, I
my
feel
God.
like Martin County is like this little,
we're in a
bubble.
We're an enclave. We are.
So
really.
it's a great place.
Even with this, they're calling this a recessionary period. Our last 3 years have been the best 3 years we've
Yeah.
ever had.
Yeah.
So,
And people are spending, and it's you wouldn't know it.
no, so I just read something that we can now expect a recession, a slight recession in the first quarter next year.
Yeah.
We've been very fortunate
Yeah.
here. Is kind of winding down. Is there something you want to talk about? We may miss.
Well, as far as the real estate part of it,
Yeah, let's do it.
big news there. So my husband did it, as you know, he expanded his company, and I opened up the DreamWorks Real Estate about 5 years ago, and we opened up like 6 months before COVID hit.
Oh,
I thought,
What
this is not
timing.
going to last. But we worked our tails off, and we went from 4 agents to almost 30 agents in the 5
Wow.
years. And it was really just me running the show and a part-time office manager. And, I just had to take the company to the next level or say, okay, this was fun, and now that's that. So I had some companies come at me that wanted to buy me out. And one was a local company here in Florida, and it didn't really work out. And then there was a company out of Chicago, and the name is Fulton Grace Realty. Fulton Grace are names of streets up in Chicago, if you're familiar with Chicago. And, it was 9 months of negotiations, walking away from the table, coming back to the table, but it all worked out. And he is the fastest growing real estate brokerage in the Chicago area. He just took over Wisconsin, he took over Arizona, and now he's laying roots in Florida with DreamWorks. So we're co-branding right now as Fulton Grace / DreamWorks Real Estate. And, the opportunities and the technology and the platform is nothing you've seen before.
But someone from Chicago isn't going to come here and try to sell real estate, are they? They're keeping you. They're keeping you there, right?
Oh, no, I'm there.
Yeah.
No, I'm there. Obviously, because of the DreamWorks connection as well. That's why we're co-branding, because DreamWorks has a brand out there already in Martin County and Palm Beach County.
It sure does.
So, no, I'm managing broker. So everything stays the same there. Nothing really changes for the agents. It's just a lot more opportunity. I mean, the platforms that are out there that majority of the brokers, local brokers use are, like SkySlope, Brokerment, AppFiles, KV Core. This is a solely designed platform for Fulton Grace alone, probably $250,000 program that our agents will only get to use. So we're really
nice.
excited about it. They're very excited about the expansion.
So, 30 agents you have?
And I have a referral company as well. So
You got a pretty good lock on the market.
yeah.
So, these 30 agents, I don't know exactly how it works. Their licenses are hung with you.
Yes.
They can't sell for another broker.
One broker at a time.
Okay. So you got 30 under your
Yeah.
guys.
And
Wow.
it was crazy. I mean, there were weeks I didn't sleep at night trying to, because I was doing administrative stuff, all the accounting portion of it. It was just a lot, and I just said, you know what, I need some help here.
Yeah, I would
It's
think.
getting a little too big, and so
So maybe this is not maybe it's an unfair question. Would you rather get a listing or a sale?
you mean a buyer so a listing or a buyer. I really enjoy, obviously there was a place in time where everybody was talking about you got to list to live. You know what I mean? Because there was just nothing for the buyers out there. It's getting a little better, and I'm sure people are still saying you got to list to live because eventually that house is going to sell. I like either or. I love working with a buyer. You really get to know your buyers. Just spending time with them, because sometimes it could take a month, 3 months, 6 months to help them find something, and by then you're like your best buddies. You've got emails and phone numbers. You've gone out to lunches and dinners and breakfasts. And so I really enjoy that, the relationship part of that. And you can do the same thing on the listing side as well. I just think it's, not as much personal time. But I would definitely, that is an unfair question.
I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you another one.
I'll take both of them.
What's your prototype client? A dream client, like, oh my God. I mean, is it an older person? Is it younger with kids? Is it a professional? Is it a blue collar worker? Is there?
That's hard because I have all
People are
kinds.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people are people. And I think what would be easier on any agent is just somebody that knows what they're looking for. Instead of
Yeah.
dragging you from, all the way around Kingdom Come, between St. Lucie County and Martin County. So I think somebody that can hone in on what they're actually looking for. It'll go quicker, and it's just a little more pleasant that way. But as far as clients, we have, older cash clients. We have new families that barely got into the house that they're in, but it didn't matter. I mean, they were great clients. Didn't matter.
Well, that's great. And obviously, you have to love what you do.
I do love it.
Yeah.
I
and
do
it
love it.
shows.
Yeah. So I was a paralegal. I was a real estate paralegal for 30 years. And so I worked with real estate attorneys. And then I just didn't want the whole 9 to 5 thing. So I thought, going into real estate would be, you could make your own hours. But I didn't realize that the company would go from there to there. And I was working 24/7.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, though.
So-
In that business, it is a 24/7.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Kelly, thank you so much. And thank you for being a member of our chamber.
Oh, no, thanks
And
for
thank you
inviting
coming.
me. We love the chamber. Love the
Thank
chamber.
you.
Anything we can do for you guys.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks.